What made you to think that way? What are those key considerations a designer needs to have today?
Design actually abstract concept, right? So it's a combination of all the disciplines.
How do you take decisions on a day-to-day basis with your team and also enable them?
And that's the question I keep asking every day to myself and to my team. Like, what is the value you're driving?
What are the key considerations of this leadership design role at these big corporates?
See, many designers doesn't want to be leaders. They want to continue as an individual contributor throughout their career. Leadership role is not for everyone. Leadership requires a different set of skills.
So what are the significant difference for a person who wants to join a big tech? They may require to build their team from scratch. Welcome to another episode. Today I'm excited to host Alipta Ballav, a senior design manager at Microsoft, a seasoned design leader with deep expertise in retail, healthcare, and automobile design. At Microsoft, Alipta leads a design team for the retail industry cloud, shaping next-generation retail experiences that bridge technology and user needs. His work focuses on scaling design teams, solving complex system challenges, and integrating interdisciplinary thinking into large-scale products. Before Microsoft, he held leadership roles at Cerner Corporation, where he led 21-member design team tackling healthcare design challenges, and at Harman International, contributing to automotive UX design system and research-driven product innovation. Beyond his corporate work, Alipta is the co-founder of Design Shots, a non-profit dedicated to democratizing UX education through conferences and mentorship. In this episode, we dive into the future of designers as polymath and how interdisciplinary skills are shaping modern design, the role of design in complex industries like retail, healthcare, and automobile, key insights from leading design at Microsoft, Cerner, and Harman, and scaling design teams in startup versus big tech. If you are curious about design leadership, industry-wide UX challenges, and the evolving role of designers, this episode is packed with full of insights. Don't forget to follow and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app and YouTube. Your support helps us bring in more insightful conversation to help you learn from leaders. Let's jump in and hear from Alipta. Thanks for joining today. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.
Alipta, you are very evident and vocal about what's going to be the future of designers and their roles and what will be their skill set and the responsibilities down the line of, let's say, 5 or 10 years. What got me curious in that is that you keep mentioning about that their role will not be limited to just focusing on the solution part or crafting experience for the same. It will go beyond to maybe ideation, maybe brainstorming on the business ideas and also on the tech side things also.
Correct.
Which led me to think about that it's not a designer as such. If we see a designer in the future, it's a polymath type of a role.
Correct.
Can you help us understand what made you to think that way, and what are those key considerations a designer needs to have today for the same?
Yeah, definitely. So I think design actually is a very abstract concept, right? So design is something what you learn from other disciplines and bring it to the table. So it's a combination of all the disciplines, right, across.
Hmm.
And design is not just about creating prototyping or working on Figmas and stuff like that. So that's
Yeah.
probably the surface part of it, right? But I feel whatever knowledge you gather from other disciplines, let's say some of the examples I can take definitely is, let's say economics is a topic, right?
Yeah.
So you need to understand more about behavioral economics, right? What is loss aversion and stuff like that, right? So multiple other theories of, let's say, economics or maybe other principles, social studies, social science rather, and also about let's say in the age of AI, if you talk about game theory, what is game theory?
Hmm.
Uh, let's say you are training an image,
Hmm.
right? Training a model with a set of images, correct?
Okay.
Now, so every time the model learns, it will try to optimize things, right, on its own.
Correct.
So in a game theory, you try to understand the opponent, right, and try to optimize your next move, right?
Hmm.
So that's a conceptual thing. But if you don't understand that on the
Correct.
first hand, then you'll probably not get deeper into the what is machine learning, what is AI, right? So understanding those concepts matters a lot, right?
Right.
So as I said, design is a mix of multiple disciplines,
Hmm.
not just about your craft. Definitely, craft is important. And that's why I recently wrote a LinkedIn post where I said that the job description of a designer is undefined, right? And that's an
Yeah.
opportunity for us
Yeah. Yeah.
because we can define our future, right? We can
Exactly.
define what kind of role we want to play
Hmm.
to make a company successful or a customer successful, right?
And even for that matter, our future successful that way.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
So I would encourage designers to, always pick up different topics, right?
Hmm.
As I said, economics, behavioral economics, cognitive science, game theory, and of course other stuff. Like if you talk about geopolitical situation, right? You cannot, launch something in a market where you have a lot of objections from the political side of things, right?
Right.
So it's and that's when the experience part starts, right? It's not
Correct.
about what you do on the surface layer.
Hmm.
The experience starts long back. So you have to connect the dots backward always, right?
Hmm.
So you have to zoom out and kind of understand that entire ecosystem,
Right.
right? And that's really on top of my mind about what is this, why I feel that designer should be understanding more about polymath. And now what is a polymath, right? So maybe
Hmm.
I want to define that first actually.
Yeah.
So
Please.
polymath, someone who has knowledge about multiple topics, and one example could be Leonardo da Vinci, right?
Hmm.
Leonardo da Vinci actually was a painter, right? We all know him as a painter, but
Correct.
he has a lot of knowledge. He used to have had a lot of knowledge on different topics like economics, social science, and aviation industry. He has done a lot of good things to
Okay.
support that industry, right? So, and maybe later down the line, Rabindranath Tagore was also a polymath.
Hmm.
So there are a lot of people. Now the thing is, there has been a debate also, right? Uh, Recently, Jacob Nielsen wrote an article saying that UX, being an UX unicorn is difficult.
Hmm.
Why it is difficult? Because you need to learn a lot, right? And can you actually be an unicorn in that way,
Hmm.
right? Uh, but then there are two school of thoughts here. One is either you become a specialist
Hmm.
by being an unicorn, or you remain generalist throughout your career, right? Where you probably work on multiple disciplines, right? One could be, I mean, as if you're going to use any service company, so normally what happens, you'll see designers moving from one product to another
Another
product
product.
very often, right?
Yeah.
So probably you'll be working on one solution for 3 months, and next, and rather one domain for 3 months, and then you can move to the other domain, right?
Hmm.
So that's how it is. But then you're not picking up the details of the domain, right? While you start picking up, you have time to move to the other project, right?
Right.
So I think from my experience, domain knowledge is very important to
Hmm.
create a much more bigger impact in the design industry. Because when I was working for a healthcare company in the past, in my past, I think I picked up a lot of things from healthcare industry, and
Hmm.
that's why my design was more impactful. My solutions are more impactful, right?
Hmm.
In healthcare, it's a regulated industry, right?
Yeah.
And you probably have to learn a lot about patient safety and HIPAA regulation and stuff like that, accessibility, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of things. So that made me a better designer rather than focusing just on the top layer, right? Yeah,
So is it fair to say that in the future designers will be polymath for a specific domain or
no. So Polymath is not for a specific domain. Polymath is about who has great understanding of multiple topics, not just one topic. So
not just the one
traditionally,
topic?
uh, if you talk about a T-shaped profile, T-shaped
Hmm.
profile is someone who has touched upon multiple, areas, right?
Yeah.
And then he or she probably can focus on pick up one specialization, right? Maybe
Yeah.
for us it is design, right? But polymath is like a comb-shaped profile where you pick up multiple areas, right? Not just design,
Hmm.
not just UI UX, or not
Correct.
just research. Maybe something else, right? Maybe
Hmm.
behavioral science,
Hmm.
as I said, social science, behavioral economics, or geopolitics. So I think I'm not saying you have to be an expert in all these areas. I'm saying
Correct.
you should understand these concepts, right?
You
To
should be start observing the world better in a way.
correct, study the world. So
Study the world.
that's just something I always say, that study the world around you,
Hmm.
understand how things are connected. Then
Right.
only you can be a better designer, right? Then only you can connect your dots while you you know put your thoughts on a piece of paper or whatever, right?
Olipta, if we observe our world around us, right, there are
Hmm.
lots of complex systems up there.
Correct.
Like, as you mentioned rightly, healthcare is one of them, retail is there, medicine is there, transportation is there. Currently, at Microsoft that you are working in, right, one of the product that you are heading is a generative AI based retail product.
Correct.
I feel it's very complex in nature because it's not as easy as that you can apply any structured thinking process and solve the problem comes your way.
Hmm.
You have to think from multiple angles, as you mentioned rightly, being a polymath, right?
Correct. Correct.
But in that case, no such designers are trained today to think from a interdisciplinary skill sets,
Absolutely.
right?
Hmm.
How do you take decisions on a day-to-day basis with your team and also enable them?
So generative AI as a domain is not complex, but then what is complex is how do you apply that in your products, right? What are the use cases you need to pick up so that you can take full potential of machine learning and AI, right? So that
Yeah.
is one tricky part, because what is happening these days is it's a hype, right?
Hmm.
If you take Gartner's hype cycle, it's a hype technology
Yeah.
at this point of time, because we are not understanding, though AI is making a lot of promises, but we are not understanding ultimately if AI is going to benefit
Hmm.
us. Us, I means end users, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, you're building products for end users, correct?
Correct. Whatever the system anyone
Whatever.
is working, it has
What?
to complement the end user.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now the thing is, when you ask me like, how do I handle my team and make them take quick decisions on this? I would say I don't force them to take any decision at this point of time. What
Okay.
I'm doing at this point of time is I'm asking them to explore, right? I'm
Hmm.
asking them to do a lot of experiments
Hmm.
to kind of understand where AI fits, where generative AI fits in
Hmm.
our solution, in our product offerings, right?
Can you drive with some examples?
Some examples could be, definitely, if I talk about a retail scenario, where exactly AI would be helpful in a retail scenario, right?
Hmm.
Uh, is it more about let's say, for an example, if you want to do a shopping, right,
Right.
online shopping, right? Do you think AI can assist you in that shopping experience, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Is that a good use case, right? We're
Hmm.
exploring on that, right?
Correct.
I don't know. I don't have an answer right away that whether uh, that is the right use case for an AI
Hmm.
application of AI, rather, right?
Absolutely.
But we are doing a lot of experiments. We are trying to talk to users. We are trying to talk to different customers. Though customers expecting us to uh, you know deploy AI solutions in their tenants. But the thing is, we as a team has been always questioning, right? Because
Correct.
design is more about doing the right thing, correct?
And also, I some at to some extent asking the right
As
question.
asking the right questions, right? So is it, are we doing the right thing? Are we actually uh, enabling things,
Hmm.
enabling a better experience for our users, or are we making it complex for them,
Right.
right? So that's a study going on, right? And as I said, you're doing a lot of experiments
Hmm.
to enable this kind of use cases for our end users, right?
Makes
But
sense.
if you ask me like, how am I helping my team or making them
Yeah.
understand the scenarios, yeah, it's difficult, right?
Hmm.
Because none of us are trained in AI, right? None of us
Correct.
understand the full potential of AI, though AI is making a lot of promises, right? So the only thing is, I keep pushing my team to read a lot, right? Spend
Hmm.
so especially every Fridays is
Hmm.
dedicated for learning and development, right? So we don't
Okay.
keep any meetings on that day. I expect my team to learn and come out with ideas, right? And also Microsoft has something called Copilot
Right.
Studio. We are working on Copilot Studio to understand what is feasible in Copilot Studio, right?
Hmm.
And also a new concept which is very recently emerged in the market is agents,
Right.
right? AI agents. Now, what is an agent?
Agentic workflow is the right way to put it.
Yeah, workflow is definitely how agents are talking to each other, right?
Correct.
It's a scenario where multiple agents
Hmm.
are talking to each other, taking decisions on the fly,
Hmm. Hmm.
and enabling things for you, right?
Correct.
That's an workflow. That's an agentic workflow. But agents is like it's an autonomous process by itself, right?
Correct.
Where you take decisions on behalf of an end user, right?
Hmm.
Based on the signals, based on the intent, right? So all those matters. If we expect designers to understand the full, life cycle of an agent or stuff like that, it's a tough job for us because we're not AI
Definitely.
experts, right? In any case,
Yeah.
but then we have to be AI experts, right? So if you
Hmm.
want to be more impactful designer for the future,
Hmm.
you have to learn the technology. And that is exactly my previous point where I touched upon that. You need to understand the world, you need to understand technology, and a lot of
Hmm.
other related, facts and figures. So I keep pushing my team to read a lot about, agents, agentic workflows, and what is the future of UX in terms of how you can contribute as a team. Because
Correct.
in my mind, one question always comes to me is, what is the value you add to your organization, right?
Definitely.
And that I keep questioning that. And that's a question I keep asking every day to myself and to my team. Like, what is the value you're driving, right?
Hmm.
Or you adding to the organization? Every day the answer might change for you. But
Correct.
someday if you don't have an answer, then I don't know what's the future for us.
No, definitely. And to some extent, that also made me think about how we were working on Photoshop to create experiences that time without any design system at all.
Correct, correct.
But now on a Figma, working without a design system is a nightmare. So that's kind of a adoption that we have made with the tools and technologies.
Hmm.
So down the line of maybe 5 years, that will be the another workflow that we need to adapt to.
Correct.
Alipto, if any designer today is starting out their career, thinking about to start with domain, let's say fintech,
Hmm.
right? And after 2 or 3 years, they think about to move to maybe Logitech, right? They will have a thought process that why do I even think about to change this drastical domain change where I need to start from scratch and then have to adapt my learnings and then have to navigate, of course. But if we see your career, you have navigated from automobile to healthcare to retail today, right? Which is very, very different in nature and also
Correct.
requires a different skill set to understand the domain.
Correct.
What made you to think about to take this transition? And what are if you look back today, what are those advantages that you feel have added in your career today?
Yeah, I'll take a step back here.
Please.
See, when you are when you're a fresh designer, right, passing out from a college or whatever, right, or maybe you're starting your career fresh, right.
Hmm.
I expect every designer to uh, work in different industries for the initial days of his or her career, right. Why is that? Because um, I'll probably try to connect the dots a little later on this,
Yeah.
because I expect them to pick up what you like from different domains, right? And that's
Correct.
why I will expect you to keep switching domains every 6 months, right?
Hmm.
And this is very well connected with the thought. If you have read the book called Designing Your Life by Bill Brunet, right, where he says
Yeah.
that uh, you have to start understanding like what are the challenges or what are the opportunities you have for you, right?
Hmm.
And you can only understand if you experience that, correct?
Correct.
If you have not experienced a set of domains or a set of process in the initial days, you'll never be able to take that ahead, right?
Yeah.
You'll
Also,
never
we'll
have the
never able to understand
right
what's your real liking is,
what is feasible, right?
what is
What is a
visible.
possibility, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So I would expect a designer to at least spend 2-3 years in different domains and understand those domains, and then probably uh, and I also expect him to do a lot of things, right? Design, research, then prototyping, information architecture,
Yeah.
all the stuff, so that they 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 kind of test everything,
Hmm.
right? They kind of feel okay. Now I know information architecture, or now I know what are the intricacies of creating a Figma prototype,
Hmm.
and then I can figure out: do you want to be an UI designer, or do you want to be an UX designer, or do you want to be an information architect, or
Correct.
maybe or other things, right? Like research or whatever, right?
Hmm.
Or a business designer for that matter. That's a new role coming up.
Hmm.
Until you know this, until you explore these areas in the initial days of your career, then you'll never become never take a call like what is the next step I should take in terms
Hmm.
of my career. So I did the same thing, right? I
Okay.
did the same thing in my career actually. I started as a multimedia artist.
Is it?
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, and then I switched to graphic design, right? And
Okay.
then I switched to front end engineering for many years.
Same like me, I
Yeah.
guess.
So, but then why? Because
Hmm.
I wanted to learn. I wanted
Correct.
to understand. I wanted to connect the dots actually, right? So I wanted to
Hmm.
understand how do you write a code. So I'm talking about 99, 98, 99 when I started my career.
Okay.
So that time it was more about building static websites, right? You
Hmm.
create a design, designer will create a design, and you have to come up with you have to create that make an HTML version of the design, right?
Yeah.
That's how it used to be,
Workable function of your
workable
design.
function, right? But those used to be static websites, right?
Yeah.
And a little bit of JavaScript and stuff like that. So to a small interactions.
And with the lack of Figma, I guess that time we used to call it as a pixel perfect UI.
Pixel Perfect UI. Yeah, that Pixel Perfect UI came a little later
Okay.
down the line, but I'm
But it
talking
had
about
started
99
with that.
because people are not knowing like what is Pixel Perfect design
Hmm.
back in that
Yeah.
back in those days. So now why did I wanted to enter into front end engineering? Because I felt that I need to know
Hmm.
how, and I've seen my company when a HTML designer came and he started using those HTML code and all that to create give shape to that design I created,
Design.
right?
Hmm.
So I was very inquisitive, right? Okay, let me understand this a bit, and then I started
Hmm.
learning it, and then I said, wow, this is interesting, right? And I felt okay, let's continue this for some more time. And when I felt let's continue this for some more time, I actually continued for another 10 years in my career,
Okay.
right?
Then you
I
never
left
look
I
back.
left graphic design. I left design actually that time.
Okay.
I was fully into coding and all technical things, right?
Hmm.
I learned JavaScript. I learned XHTML. Those days XHTML used to be the markup coding language.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then HTML5 also came a little later in the CSS2, CSS3, all
Three
that came.
also that time only. Yes.
And also I don't know switch topics here, but Flash ActionScript also was very popular, scripting language that kind of
Hmm,
time.
yeah. I think YouTube have also started with Flash only earlier.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I liked it, right? I liked it. I wanted to learn the technology, right? And I continued, as I said, for 10 long years. Like so there's a stage where uh, my last gig as a front end engineer was where I used to pass JSON,
Hmm.
from through JavaScripts, right?
Right.
Right, through JavaScript coding. So and then I realized, okay, after long 10 years in coding and front end engineering, I felt okay, I'm probably doing the same thing, right?
Correct.
And then I was losing my interest in the
Hmm.
IT industry. I thought maybe it's time to move back into design, my more core area, because I've not been doing design for many years, right?
Mhm.
That's when I make another switch, right, from technical front end coder to a designer again, right?
Mhm.
I started again as an individual contributor,
Mhm.
right? Uh, and my boss wanted to manage me a team of 5 designers. I said no.
Okay.
I said I want to learn design. I want to again pick up those skills which I've lost
Yeah.
over a period of
So you
time.
were very well aware that you need to first match the trends and then
Yes,
you will
yeah.
definitely move
So I
towards.
joined as an individual contributor, and I started picking up those skills again, right? So and I
Mm.
started working on projects. I remember I'm talking about where I joined a company called Aditi Technologies,
Mm.
which was then taken over by Harman
Okay.
Connected Services, and then Harman finally was taken over by Samsung,
Correct.
right? So I wanted to join a small design firm where the focus was more on code design stuff,
Mm.
something like an agency model, right?
Yeah.
And I did a lot of projects there, a lot of different customers. Like Toyota was one of them. I remember
Mm.
I was doing an app for them for Indian customers, right? So all those multiple things came in, and then I was kind of getting adjusted to, as I said, as you said, right? They said the latest trends in design,
Mhm.
and again, it was more about discovering myself, right? Where do I want to
Mm.
do? What do I want to do next in terms of my career?
Right.
Yeah, so that's how it started, as I said, and this is how I would again connect the dots back. Is uh, initial days I was more of a generalist,
Mm.
understanding all those domains, and then I moved into front end engineering for many years to understand that domain, like how it works, and then again back to design. Now
Right.
the advantage of doing it is today, if though technology is advancing very rapidly,
Yeah.
but my advantage is that I understand technology, right? I understand the engineering mindset, right?
Mm. Being
How
a designer.
being a designer, how they think, and uh, what kind of requirement they have from a design team, right? Because I used to sit on the other side of the table many years back, where I used to you know probably ask a designer like, you have to do this. That's when I can write this piece of code for you, right?
But that led me to think about one question is that today's designer will not get that kind of opportunity where they also work on front end for some time and then basically understand the domain and then move again to the design.
Correct,
So
absolutely.
do you agree that all the designers should learn coding?
This is debatable. uh, in my opinion, if you ask me, yes,
Okay.
right? uh, as I said, you need to connect the dots. If you don't understand coding, or if you I'm not saying being an expert in coding. I said understand how technology works, right?
Hmm.
I'm not saying you sit and write code, a piece of code. That is not your job as a designer. But you should understand the language of engineering. That is
Hmm.
important, right? So if you don't understand what is what is an engineer talking about in a meeting, you really miss out, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And then again, you need to go back to the drawing board, understand, okay, engineering might have said this, right? And
Right.
then you'll be able to connect the dots. So I think you have to be very prepared, right? You're
Hmm.
working in a very fast paced environment, right? So you're supposed to be taking you're supposed to be taking a lot of notes. You're supposed to be always enhancing your skills down the
Right.
line, right?
Right.
So I think uh, my opinion, definitely you should know engineering, even even if you're a designer, so that you are able to connect the dots. Now I want to relate that a bit. In my previous podcast, I said that I expect uh, people from other industry to join design, right?
Okay.
But why is that?
Hmm.
This is what it is, because I want fresh perspectives,
Huh.
right?
Right.
So if an engineering comes and say, okay, maybe you could have done this way, he's bringing his own perspective,
Hmm.
which might be valuable for the solution, right?
Correct.
Or if an economist come and say, okay, you might have to do this in this way, because I'm thinking on a broader terms, in terms of, you know, human behavior,
Hmm.
then I might think, okay, I might have to tweak my process or my solution so that it can benefit my end users, right?
Right.
So I expect people from other from other industry to come into design, so that they get their perspectives and we also learn from that.
And they can also question the structured thinking
Absolutely.
also,
Absolutely.
and that, who knows, may lead out to a good solution at the end.
It does actually. So today, if you talk about AI, uh, AI is like, it is mostly engineering driven, right? AI,
Right.
right? So how do as a designer create impact,
Hmm.
like in a solution which is fully engineering driven,
Correct.
right? Because engineers have their own thought process. Engineering might understand more on how to, when they're building a model, probably an AI model, they'll say how what are the different ways I can evaluate that model, right? Maybe performance, or maybe
Right.
relevance, or maybe whatever, right? Other terminologies they use. Maybe recall is one of them, which I recently heard about. But from an UX standpoint, we think, okay, we probably will evaluate that model based on sentiment, right?
Hmm.
Or based on the accuracy of that model, right?
Right.
So if I ask a question to an AI assistant, uh, I might be getting a response which might help me to take decision further, right?
Correct.
Right? Or it might make me feel, okay, now I can ask more questions, because my intent is, the AI is probably understanding my intent and giving me a response which I'm actually looking for, right?
Right.
Here, designer thinking from a different perspective,
Hmm.
engineering thinking from a different perspective, maybe we can converge to a point where both can be successful, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
that's one thing. Yeah.
And maybe combination of both perspective can also create a right
Absolutely.
solution for the user.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah.
I want to touch upon one interesting problem almost all designers working in any startups in India
Mm-hmm.
faces, right? And the kind of a dream they have is that one day they want to work with big tech, Microsoft, Oracle, Google, Harman, and all, right?
Okay.
And the way you manage team and delivers the results in startups and also on the big tech is also different, right? For someone who is working in a startup, wants to navigate to this path from startup to a big tech, it's very big, and
Mm-hmm.
they being outside of this big corporate world entirely is something that they do not have any idea about it, right? How that works, how the team functions in big corporates and all. So they always have that ambiguity that what are the key skill sets that I need to pursue today so that tomorrow I'll be eligible for that leadership role at big corporates.
See, it's difficult to say what are the key skills you need to pick up, but I can give you some pointers actually.
Sure.
Uh, One is definitely what is the value you're driving in your current company, right? Uh,
Hmm.
that value, uh, and the impact you create for your customers, that is important, because there's no shortcut to move from a startup to a big tech, right? There's no
Yeah.
shortcut. So
Yeah.
sometimes this happens by chance, right?
Hmm.
And I've seen people who was in a startup yesterday, he's in a big tech today, right? So many times you have to aspire for that, right? That I want to see myself in this big tech giant in 5 years from now, or maybe 2 years from now, whatever plans you have, and you have to work towards that, right?
Hmm.
One is definitely, I'd say, network with these people who are already in this big techs, right?
Hmm.
And today there are a lot of networking opportunities right? There are a lot of
Absolutely.
conferences, design meetups where you get to meet people, a lot of people. Try to sync up with them, understand like what are the expectations they have, right?
Hmm.
When it comes to hiring,
Hmm.
and though they might be able to give you some pointers, and you might have to work on that. One is definitely building your portfolio, so a solid portfolio as a designer, which is a must today, right?
Yeah.
But then what do you want to include in your portfolio? Correct.
Hmm.
Do you want to just show the process, few projects, and is that it? No, I think the biggest thing is what impact you have created for your customer.
Hmm.
I know this is a very, again, sometimes my designer might say, okay, how will I know the impact because I moved to some other project, right? Because sometimes that
Right.
information also doesn't come to a designer, which is very difficult. But then I think impact is not about the usage, right?
Or just numbers.
Just number. It's not. It's just the numbers. Like, okay, my
Hmm.
product has been used by this many users, or the active downloads has been this many, right? It's not about
Right.
numbers. It's always about how you are working or how you are contributing to the process on a day-to-day basis to improve the solution. That's also impact, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think you need to make them clear to the hiring manager, uh, uh, rather in your portfolio, I would say, like, okay, this is where I've contributed, you know.
Hmm.
So I think that is one thing, and secondly, I would say always try to pick up signals from the market, right? Because a job description, right,
Right.
tells you a lot of things. You have to
Right.
read the job
Right.
description very carefully. I actually read a
Yes.
very beautiful job description sometime back where I was very clear that okay, this is what the expectation this company have from
Hmm.
me, right? And a lot of companies do mistakes in writing the job description properly,
Absolutely.
but I
Yeah.
think many companies does it well also. So I think you need to pick up those ideas from a JD, like what is expectation I the company have from me, right?
Hmm.
So I think these two areas, one is the impact you create, one is the job description. You have to understand the job description well, and also network with people. Try to network with people from this company, this corporate giants, the tech giants, as you call it, and understand like what are the expectations they have, right?
Right.
Yeah. So these are something on top of my mind at this point of time. Yeah.
When you said about the impact, I want to add my thoughts also on the
Mhm.
same,
Yeah.
and please correct me if I'm wrong there. Impact doesn't mean that how many downloads or
Yeah.
how many users are using your solution, as you rightly mentioned that. Impact is also about that what was the solution was working earlier and how you have improved users' life with approaching a new way of using a product of yours,
Correct.
and what's the improvement you have done in the user experience in that.
Correct.
May not have the significant people using the solution, but is there any new pattern started coming out?
Correct. Correct. Yes.
Is there a fair put?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely. If you are able to solve problem for a small set of users, that's also impact, right? It's
Yeah.
not that okay, you're solving it for millions or billions, right? Because your problem statement is only solving for those 100 people or 200 people, right? And it's a very unique problem you're trying to solve, and that problem may not exist for others, right? So that is
Right.
also impact, and you cannot always count by the numbers. It's not about the usage and not about
Hmm.
how many monthly downloads you had, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you are solving it for a particular group of community, right? You're solving for a particular set of users, so that's also impact, I would say. And you rightly said, it's not the numbers,
Yeah.
it's how effective I was able to build a solution for those 100 users
Hmm.
who's using my product on a daily basis, right?
Makes sense. Makes sense. Uh, Alipto, help us understand how different it is to
Mhm.
build uh, build a design team from a scratch at companies like, of course, Microsoft, versus scaling a design team at a startup? So what are the significant difference for a person who wants to join a big tech, right? And they may require to build their team from scratch. So what are the things that they also need to keep in mind while doing it?
So I think so. My gig as a design leader started back in Cerner in 2017 when I was given the role to uh, build a design team. Right, I'm taking a
Hmm,
step back here again. I always love to give a broader context.
please.
So the thing is, and I was new to that role. Right, I had no prior experience of design leadership, and that was a challenge given to me, and I took up the challenge. Right,
Hmm,
my charter was to build a design team in India, and they did not have much presence in India, right, with
hmm,
regards to design and stuff like that. So it was all driven by US counterparts, right? So that was a challenge, and I took it up. Definitely, in the initial days, you need to figure out like why you have been hired for, right? What is the role you need to play in the organization, right?
right.
And people might give you different answers, and if you talk to leadership in your initial days, and you need to build a plan, right? 30, 60, 90 days plan, like what you need to do as a leader, correct?
Hmm,
So when I was building this plan out, I was thinking like, okay, I need to meet this many people in the first 30 days to understand my role better, right? What am I supposed to be
right.
doing as a leader here? And many people gave me different answers. Many say you have to build a team, you have to hire talent, you have to retain talent, you have to take uh, take ownership of products. A lot of questions came. I said, okay, that is interesting. But as you navigate through that role, you start understanding, right? Okay,
Hmm,
and you start adjusting your way of looking at things, right?
hmm,
So when I was being told that you have to retain talent,
hmm.
I was feeling okay. I've not even hired a talent. How do I retain a talent, right? So that is a quick question to me.
Yeah.
But that is a signal given to me that okay, you have to build a good talent so that people doesn't move out,
Mm,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Retention won't become a problem.
retention won't become a problem, right?
Hmm,
So I started hiring people from different other companies and stuff like that. And then what I also felt in down the process is okay. I This was also my idea. I felt that
okay.
as I said, healthcare is a very it falls under regulated industries, healthcare, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
uh, why can't I pick talent from inside?
Hmm,
That is the thought which sparked. I wanted to figure out like because a lot of people are in are from process consultants and then
hmm,
solutions consultant, and then they're working for other multiple other domains, business process. And I thought, okay, there are people in our company who understand this domain better, right?
correct.
Can I not train them to become a designer? That was my
Hmm,
thought. And I
interesting.
started reaching out to these folks, right?
Okay.
And ultimately I was able to hire few from my internal folks within that company,
Hmm,
and which was a good success for me because they're able to bring in those expertise in terms of the process, in terms of the domain skills they
hmm,
had
yeah.
into the design process, which helped me a lot. So what I'm trying to say is why I brought up this story is because you also need to adjust what is working for you, right?
Hmm,
Now in Microsoft it was different. In Microsoft I joined a little late. My team was already formed, right?
okay.
Which was a challenge to me because I don't know anyone.
You haven't hired them,
I
so
haven't hired them.
yeah.
I don't know these people, right?
Hmm, hmm. And now joining a team as a manager
As
of
a
those
manager is
people,
like another big challenge because I've never worked with this person. I don't
correct.
know what are the skill sets. I don't know how to use them. In our solutions
Yeah.
in building our solution rather. So I was confused. I said, okay, let me figure out. And so what I did actually, I started talking to these people, understand their career goals,
Hmm. Hmm.
what they want to do in their future.
Right.
And I started learning more about them by doing a lot of one-on-one conversations, and try to figure out, okay. But I would say initial 90 days, 6 months, it was a little struggle for me because I was forming a new team, right?
Hmm.
And I had a lot of challenge in terms of understanding Microsoft as a whole, right? Because it's huge.
Yeah.
A lot of products, a lot of solutions, a lot of teams, a lot of emails comes to me every day. I have no clue what is this emails all about. Right? I have to figure that out, right?
Yeah.
And I was given a task to do something on the first day itself, right? Okay, now how do I do this? So definitely, I have leveraged my team, of course, there, but it took some time to build a synergy, right? Build that confidence, right?
Hmm.
And they also, and from their side also, it took for them also to build a trust on their leader, right? So
Right.
that they, they understand me as a person, they understand what kind of process I would implement
They
in
trust you as a manager also.
yes, exactly, as a
Hmm.
manager, as a human being, of course.
Yeah.
And it took us some time,
Hmm.
maybe 1 year, 2 years. Now we know. Now if I point something, they would understand, okay, okay, my manager is trying to tell me something,
Hmm.
and I'm not very open to them always. Like I'll give signals. Okay, this is
Right.
probably something we need to do, and they understand. Like, okay, I need to do this things
Correct.
down the line. So building a team is always a challenge. I'd
Hmm.
say leadership by itself is a challenge. Uh, uh, it's not a very it's not a function where you'll be always being praised. Manager
Uh-huh.
is something who never get praises, right? But you have to continue focus on
Hmm.
your team, setting them up for success,
Hmm.
and that's a role used to it these days because I love doing this kind of role, and I love setting up teams, building teams for the future. And one thing which is driving me is the uh, I'd say AI is a blessing in disguise because
Hmm.
AI is giving me a lot of opportunity to do a lot of experiments with my team, and
How?
because the future is unknown, right?
Right. Absolutely.
AI, you don't know what's the future for us. So through experiments, you can build concepts
Hmm.
which might work well for your solutions, for your customers rather,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So that is an opportunity for me to enlarge my team into a lot of experiments and learn more about AI and be more future ready, I would say. Yeah. So
Right.
that's something like is on top of my mind.
Makes sense, Alipto. Help us understand if you are looking for hiring a mid-level person in your team,
Hmm.
what do you look for in a candidate?
Yeah. Actually, I've taken inspiration from one of our design leaders from the industry.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to his podcast many years back actually, where he mentioned certain things, like, and the same question actually was being asked to him as well.
Hmm.
So I took a lot of inspiration from that person. His name is Navneet.
Hmm.
So he said, I look for attitude over aptitude, right? Which is
Hmm.
something which got ingrained in me when I started hiring designers. Because I mean, he made a great point saying that, okay, anything can be taught to you, right?
Yeah.
But if you have the right attitude to learn,
Hmm.
correct? So, uh, I mean, as a part of hiring process back in my companies as well, where I used to hire not designers but technical people when I
Hmm.
was usu- when I was working as an engineer, right? As I said, so I used to look for many technical. I used to ask a lot of technical questions like how do you
Right.
write this CSS or how do you write this JavaScript? A lot of technical queries, right? But then when I started hiring designers, I had to change my process. Right? What would I ask
Hmm.
to a designer? I cannot ask a technical question to a designer, right?
And
So,
to some extent, design execution is also very subjective in nature.
yes. So you might have your own set of process, right? Or you
Yeah.
might your thinking might differ. So I started looking at this attitude of people, right? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to, take a step ahead to
Hmm.
make yourself successful? Or is it like, okay, I'm good at what is being given to me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because today the nature of design is changing.
Hmm.
The nature of design discipline, the design function is changing because we as design team has to pick up opportunities, right?
Right.
Because uh, I mean, this is also one of the greatest skill I would say, because designers has learned how to remain in that uh, in that zone of ambiguity,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because this also has been a complaint for many designers, right?
Hmm.
I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing.
Correct.
They feel that okay, they are in that ambiguous zone, and that will always be there for designers. But so I think you have to pick up opportunity. You have to be proactive.
Hmm.
You have to lead your own path.
Hmm.
Until you have that attitude, you cannot do that, right?
Makes
So
sense.
aptitude is something, okay, I'll teach you something, I'll teach you the process of design, I'll teach you the fundamentals. That is fine. But then being proactive, trying to go ahead and figure out
Hmm.
what you want to do as a designer, where you want to create impact, and pick up every opportunity that comes to you
Right.
on your path. That is attitude, I would say. And I look only for that. If I intend to hire a designer, or if I plan to hire a designer from any company, or for that matter any startup. Yeah.
For you guys, if you have any questions or queries that we haven't covered in this conversation, let us know in the comment section below. So we'll get it answered by Olipto. So yeah, thanks Olipto for joining today.
Thank you, my pleasure. Yeah.
Thanks.
Our main goal with this podcast is to bring insightful conversation to help you grow in your career by inviting leaders who are driving impact at scale. If you find this episode useful, make sure you subscribe because that only helps us to invite incredible guests for the future episodes. And in case you have any suggestions about who we should invite and what all topic we should cover, let us know in the comment section below. We are always listening to make sure we deliver exactly what you are looking for.